The idea of starting with Euronet first came about from the idea of Mike and I starting a company together. At one point, Mike said, we ought to go look at Eastern Europe. And what struck us so surprising on that first trip was the economy was 100% cash-based. Mike said, we knew there was money in that cash. What is so amazing about that, and I think it speaks so much to Mike Brown, is Mike, who sees cash, sees the opportunity, sees the money in that cash, did not own an ATM card. So here's a guy who doesn't even use an ATM, but realizes and recognizes the opportunity and the need for those devices in Hungary. There's a lot of people who worked hard to build this, but a lot of times it does come down to one person who's got the vision and the tenacity that can keep their head when everything's blown up around them, and that's what allows everybody else around them to keep their head and continue to push forward. And Mike was always that guy that you could look to, and inside, there could be panic and distress, but he'd never show it.
Mike, do you remember when we met for the first time? It was 20 years ago, almost to the day. On a Tuesday morning, we had breakfast at the Kempinski Hotel in Budapest. At breakfast, you made a great impression on me. Not because you sold hard, but because you were understated. You were matter of fact and deadly honest. I was taken by humility, although I knew that you had already been a very successful entrepreneur in the States. You clinched the deal when, in answer to my question, how much of the $4 million are you trying to raise, are you personally investing? Your answer came out without ambiguity or condition, $1 million. You may remember that I laughed and said, I will match that.
Mike has believed in this company every day for 20 years, and every day for 20 years he's come in and sold this company to anybody who would listen, including the market. So anyway, congratulations, Mike, on your 20th anniversary, and I'm sure there will be many more.
My favorite memory of Mike was Baja 2005. I think Mike lost his passport on that trip. But yeah, Dan had a great idea. He said, let's rent some dune buggies, take the afternoon off, and cruise around the desert in these dune buggies. So Mike's driving, I'm in the co-pilot seat, and he's driving way too fast across the desert. And I'm nervous, I'm sitting there, but what am I supposed to say? He's the CEO, and he's going way too fast and flying around this turn, and sure enough, he fishtails out and catches the back end of the dune buggy against this tree, and it rips the entire end of the dune buggy off.
Všechno nejlepší, Mike, 20 let u Euronetu a doufám, že budeš mít další 10 nebo 20 let a zatím musíš vypít jedno pivo takový každý rok dneska večer. That's one beer translated from Czech. One beer for every year you worked at Euronet. Have fun.
Part of Mike's sales speech to customers and investors is his favorite story on how he started Euronet, and he was committed for 2-3 years, like he told his wife Millie, and that he will exit after that. 20 years later, I don't think that Millie believes him, and we're very lucky that we have Mike still with us leading this company. Mike will call me early in the morning or send emails early his mornings and say that while he was taking a shower, he came up with different ideas on how we should do, or what we should offer into the market, or, part of our strategy. I think that Mike should take more showers.
We were business partners before Euronet, and at the time, Mike had taken a little time off between our first company and wanted to start Euronet, and asked me to be an investor, and I was happy to be an investor because I knew Mike and I knew he would succeed big time. Mike and I had a lot of common interests. Since we met in high school, one of them was we like to blow things up. You can't do that today as much, but we were both electronic geeks. We did a lot of, geeky things in high school. And then even today, we still do things together. We, launch high-altitude balloons. We, still blow things up once in a while. We do lots of geeky things.
We received a letter from one of our toughest competitors here in the U.S. Cease and desist letter. Apparently we were competing too hard with them. So I emailed it to Mike and I informed him on what was going on. He looked at the letter and said, "Okay, Juan, I got it. I will, let me work on a response and send it right back to you." And 5 minutes later, Mike Brown calls me and says, "Hey, Juan, open your inbox. There's my response." And there was an attachment from Mike. I opened it, and it was in Euronet letterhead, signed by Mike Brown. And he was so talented that he wrote the whole text with just one finger and a Xerox machine. So that gave me a peek into, Mike's personality and Mike's style.
Mike leads this company with humility. He treats all of his fellow colleagues with respect, and he mentors us on the path toward our own personal success. This is the aggressive, creative leader that I would love to be mentored by over my career.
You must be just incredibly proud of all that you've accomplished in these 20 years. Primarily, I think, for me, it's about the thousands of people who make their livelihood by working for this organization. The amount of opportunity that you've given thousands of people, the passion that we all share, the wonderful organization that we're all a part of. These are the things that last. These are the reasons that we were successful.
Mike, I joined Euronet 7 years ago for the opportunity to do something different, but more importantly, the opportunity to work with great people and for a great leader. And I can say, looking back after 7 years, you haven't disappointed. I still remember the first email that you sent me even before I joined, and you said, "Kevin, are you going to join now or wait till we get to $50? Well, the $50 took a little longer than we both expected, but we got there, and there's at least another $50 or more left in the stock price. Just wanted to say, Mike, thanks for a terrific 7 years. I really enjoyed you giving me the opportunity to work here.
Mike, congratulations on this 20-year Euronet anniversary recognition. While I've only been here 12 of the 20 years, they have been the best 12 years of my career. I couldn't have asked for a better person to work for and with than Mike Brown. Mike, thanks for letting me be a part of your success here at Euronet.
I remember a speech that you gave at Lake Balaton, and you talked about the experience as a child when you sat in front of the television set and a U.S. astronaut was launched into space, and the impact of that moment on your life and on your thinking, when for the first time we lost contact with somebody on the other side of the world. And I let that thought sink in. I thought, that is incredible. And so for me, that was probably the most impactful moment that I got from you.
Anniversaries are great opportunities for recollection of past memories. I have several of them. The first ATM transaction at McDonald's, the first system crash, the great Euronet culture. Beside all of these, I would like to highlight one thing: your charisma. Your charisma that inspired us to achieve more than ever thought it was possible. You always provided great leadership, professional and personal values that made Euronet so successful.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Congratulations, Mike.
Congratulations on 20 years. Best wishes to the next 20 years.
Congratulations.
Congratulations, Mike.
Congrats to 20 fantastic years.
Well done. Congratulations.
Congratulations, Mike. Συγχαρητήρια.
Congratulations and happy 20th.
Here's to 20 more successful years with Euronet.
Congratulations, Mike.
Gratulálok az elmúlt 20 évhez, és boldog karácsonyt!
Toutes mes félicitations pour ton énorme succès et mes meilleurs vœux pour le futur. So as to avoid a long search with Google Translator, what I said simply means, Mike, I admire you and love you.